So why democracy? Yesterday we have learnt about the definition of the democracy. In Greek word, demos means people, kratia means the power. You have already known that what is a democracy. It is the people's rule. According to the President of America, Abraham Lincoln, democracy is by the people, for the people and of the people. You have learnt in the simple form that democracy means it is only the people's rule. You have seen lot of features of the democracy and why democracy is so important. You have already learnt the example of the Parvez Musharraf, the president of Pakistan. Alright, what he did, he put the military power, and because of military power what happened, people lost their ideas, media was restricted, right? People lost all their power to speech. If they were telling something against the government, it was taken as illegal thing and they were put in the prison, they were put in the jail, right? Judges were controlled by the government, right? They were not able to give the correct judgments. If they are giving the judgments against the government, they were removed out of the office. So these were the things which had happened if there is no democracy. If the democracy is lost in the country, then what will happen? People will lose their power of opinion. They are not allowed to to have the freedom of the speech. They will not be allowed to express their opinion. It may be about the government. It may be about the policies which they are making. It may be about the rules and regulations which the government has implemented on the people. Navenu matadaka barangilri government against ige. Now when the government officials are under their control. The persons who are working in the government office, you have seen, they were made to work for the party, not for the government, not for the people. What they were working only for that particular party. Even the government officials were also misused by whom? By the party. Right, these are the things. If it is the democracy is not there in the country, then now children are asking why democracy is needed. An argument broke out in Madam Lingdong's class. She had finished the teaching previous section on what is democracy and asked the students if they thought democracy was the best form of government. Everyone had the something to say. So everyone wanted to say something after the class was over about what is the meaning of the democracy. Let us say debating the merits of democracy. So Madam Lyndon, she said that we have to debate. Whatever she says, don't take it as correct. You all sit down together, you make discussions, and if you feel it is correct, then you come up with the opinions she has said. So Lolanda, she is telling that we live in a democratic country all over the world. People want a democracy. Countries that were democratic earlier are becoming democratic now. All great people have said nice things about democracy. Isn't it obvious that democracy is the best? Do we need to debate this? So she is telling that all the people, all the good people, all the famous personalities of the world, they have said that democracy is good for us. After seeing all these instances, after seeing all that examples, we have to come to the conclusion that democracy is the best. Then why we should do the debate on this? Then here Tankini, he is telling that, but Lyndon madam had said we should not accept something just because it is famous, just because everyone else accepts it. Isn't it possible that everyone is following the wrong path? So whatever they are saying, that the madam has told that don't come to the decision that it is correct unless you yourself verify it, unless you yourself feel that it is correct. Don't think that the famous personalities have said, then we should follow it. When they have come to this conclusion, we should also come to this conclusion. Don't do that according to your thinking, according to your will and wish. You have to think, you have to settle on one decision. Jenny, she is telling, yes, it actually is a wrong path. What has democracy brought to our country? Yes, it is very important. What democracy has brought to our country? 7 decades of democracy, and there is so much poverty in the country. Yes, even though we are saying that the democratic government is the correct. A democratic government is the best. But what we are seeing along the 7 decades of the century, we are seeing that there is still poverty in our country. There are still so many poor people. Around 30% people are still poor in our country, who are unable to get the 2 square meals a day. They are unable to get the employment opportunities. The children are not going to school till today. How many are there who are not the children? 30% of our Indian children are not going to the schools regularly. They are working as a child laborers, either in the farm, either in the hotels, or in some of the factories, or in the small producers. They are going and working. Still there are so many children who are not attending the schools. So this is the thing which is happening in our country. Even though there is a democracy in our country, why the changes had not happened? Still why there is a poverty in India? Still why there is an education? Children are not getting the education. Still there is an infant mortality ratio has also increased. Still there is a baby which is not born, it is killed in the womb of the mother. Why it is still happening? While still there is a discrimination between the men and women. Even though woman is also working equal to men, she is paid a less salary compared to the men. It may be in any organization, any private organization, we are seeing that the woman is paid less compared to the men. Even though she works same, sometimes she works more efficiently, more effectively than the men, but still what is happening? She is paid less in every organization. Why it is happening so? Why there is a discrimination between men and women? Why it is done in India? Ribyang, he is telling that, but what has democracy got to do with it? Do we have the poverty because we are democratic, or do we have the poverty despite being a democracy? So he is telling that it is not necessary that whether it may be any type of government, the poverty, it is not because of a democracy. He is telling like that. Jenny, whatever, how does it make a difference? The point is that this can't be the best form of government. Here she is telling, Jenny is telling that this cannot be best form of government because it has not been able to eradicate the poverty in India. It has not been able to provide employment opportunities in India. It has been not able to provide the healthcare facilities for all the Indians. Right? It is unable to get the best education in India at lower prices. Right? It is not happening. Everywhere we are seeing the education mafia. It is running on. Pharmaceuticals mafia is going on. They are extracting more fees and all. Still these things are happening. Right? Then what is the use of the democratic type of government? What is the use of the democracy? Hospitals, they are extracting lot of bills. They are making lot of bills. Pharmaceutical mafia is how openly we can see that is going on, running in the India. Not only in India, and also in the foreign countries. But what is a democracy doing about it? It is keeping a silence on that. Is it not a hypocrite form of government? That is what the Jenny is questioning here. Democracy is all about chaos, instability, corruption and hypocrisy we are seeing here. There is no stability. There is there is a lot of corruption is involved in it. Hypocrites, whatever they say it is right. Like that, hypocrites are still people. People are acting like hypocrites. Whatever they say, we should accept it. Right, those things, hypocritic minds are there in India. Because they are rich, they are powerful. Whatever they say, we have to follow it. Is it the right thing? Is it the thing which is done? Right, in any organization, what the boss says, we should say, yes, the boss is right. And we have to follow the decisions blindly. Whether you are interested to do it or not to do it, you have to do it. So these are the things which are happening in a democratic form of government in the country. Right, where the rich class people, they are acting like hypocrites. Politicians fight among themselves. Who cares for the country? Yes, this is happening. Politicians, why they have become politicians? In order to serve the people, in order to serve the country. But what they are doing? As soon as they become the politician, they start running the factory, they start running the educational institutions. Why they have become politician? They have become politician to serve the people. But what they become? They become the best businessman of the world. They forget about the service and all. They are the best businessmen of the world. They are interested in making the profits. Whatever their black money is there, they are going to turn into white money in by establishing lot of educational institutions, lot of factories, in the name of them, in the name of their brother, in the name of their sons, in the name of their wives. They start establishing factories, establishing the educational institutions. Engineering colleges are all of the MLS, MPs. Medical colleges are also of the MLAs and the MPs. We have seen lot of examples we are seeing now. Why they have become politician? In order to serve the country. But what they are doing? They are establishing factories, they are establishing educational institutions. They have become the very good businessman. Rather than the politician, they have become very good businessman. They are interested in making their own profits. So that what these students are telling. Are they the politicians of our country? Are they acting like politicians? She is asking. They are fighting among themselves. They want to become the ministers. They want to become the DCMs, Deputy Chief Minister. They want to become the Chief Minister. Nobody is interested in the development of the state, in the development of their constituency. They are all worried about their own powers. They want to have the powers, and with that powers they want to establish the educational institutions, factories, industries, right, hotels. They want to have the big hotels, resorts that they are going to do. Poem 1 he is asking, so what should we have instead? Go back to the British rule, invite some kings to rule this country. Yes, most of us are feeling that same thing. Let the British rule come back to India. Then only we can see what the fair things happening in the India. Because we are fed up with these politicians' rules. We are fed up with the democracy. Rose, I don't know. I think what this country needs is a strong leader. Someone who does not have to bother about elections and parliament. Yes, we need such type of leader who is not doing the corruption, who is really interested in bringing up our country, who is really interested in the development of our country, who is not worried about the elections, who is not worried about the parliament house and all. One leader should have all the powers. He should be able to do whatever is needed in country's interest. That alone can remove corruption and poverty from this country. Rose is telling that we need one such leader who, whether he may become a dictator, but he has to do the what our country needs. In the interest of the country, he should work. He should remove the corruption and poverty from this country. Someone shouted, this is called dictatorship. Yes, this is called as the dictatorship, where one person is talking and others are made to obey those orders. Whether you are interested or not, you are made to obey that orders. That is called as the dictatorship. Is it good for the country? It is not at all. How can the one person be always correct? When there are you think that there are 800 or you think the 1000 people are working in one organization and only one person is giving the orders and all the others are made to follow it. Do you think it is correct? Always the one person can be correct? No, it is not like that. The one person may also take the wrong decisions. He may also he may be also going in the wrong way. There should be one panel, there should be group of the members who together by discussions come to one decision and make that decision as the correct decision. There should be discussions going on regarding the decisions. There should be a debate on whatever the decisions. Before telling the decision to all the employees, there should one debate go at least with the group of members who are very much expert in that areas. The discussion should be done. It is not like that, yes, I have done this rules, you have to go and you have to just follow it. It should not happen. This is a dictatorship, and it will never bring the profits to the country. It will never earn the good results. It will never do, because you have to take the experts opinion. After taking the experts opinion only, you have to come to the final decision. That decision definitely it will give you the fruits. Definitely that will give you what you want. The result will be exactly the good result. But what happens here, one person is taking the decision and he is making the others to follow it. Whether you are interested or not, you have to do it, because it has come from the high command. It has come from the order, has come from the high command. Yes, we are implementing it, we are doing it, and what happens, the end result is not going to reach the poor people. The corruption is going to increase, it is not going to decrease. What if that person starts using all these powers for himself and his family, and what if he is corrupt himself? Yes, the power and money, what it does, it just gives you the, what I can say, it gives you lot of desires. When you have money, when you have power, do you think you do all the good things only? No, lot of desires are there inside you. You start fulfilling your one and another desire, one desire, another desire. ಇವತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಟ್ಟೀನ್ರಿ, ಖುಷಿ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಟ್ತೀರಿ, ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರಾಕತ್ತೈತಿ, ಖುಷಿ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ರ ನಂತರ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಟ್ಟುನು. ಅದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಟ್ತೀರಿ, ಅವಾಗೂ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಮಾಡುನು. Desires. I already have learnt in the 6th standard, as per the Gautam Buddha, he says the life of a man is always surrounded with the desires. Right? You have to have a moderation of your desires. You have to control your desires, but it will not happen. When you have got the power, when you get the lot of money in your hands, what the thing you do, the first thing you go for it is the expenditure of that money. Go on building the buildings, go on purchasing the assets, purchasing the land, 1 acre land, 2 acres land, 3 acres land, 10 acres, 20 acres, 30 acres, 40 acres. Man is not at all satisfied. Till his last breath, he go on purchasing the land, he go on constructing the buildings. But at the end of your life, when you sit and you think what you have done in your life, only you have purchased the land, you have constructed the buildings. That is what you have done throughout your life. Have you changed the poverty of the country? Have you changed? Have you given employment to so many people? Have you changed their life condition? The person who was working you, he came as a poor employee, but after going out, has he gone out as a rich employee? No, not at all. Have you increased the standard of living of your employees? No, not at all. Any organization will not do, any government will not do. MLAs, MPs, they think of their own benefits. They think of their increasing their own properties, but they don't think of increasing the people's standard of living. People's income should increase. Then what happens? Their standard of living increases. When their standard of living increases, what happens? Then definitely India is going to become a developed country. But what is happening everywhere? The head positions, only their life, their standard of living is increasing. Right? Whatever the middle class people, they are struggling. They will not come to poor class also. They will not become rich class also. Only rich class are enjoying all the benefits of the country. They are becoming rich and rich. What about the middle class? What about the poor class? when their increase of standard of living will happen. Right? That is not happening. You are purchasing the lands, but what about the people who are working under you? Are they purchasing the lands? Are they constructing the houses? No, not at all. It is not happening anywhere. Even you can see in the government, as soon as he becomes the ministers, he purchases the factories, he becomes the owner of the factories, he becomes the owner of the resorts, he becomes the owner of the malls, big malls in Bangalore. But what happens for the people? It is not, in any way it is not helping the poor people. So these are the questions of the Rose and Hoy when they are comparing it. Go and check the record of dictators in real life. They are most corrupt. So what he is saying, the dictator's life, if you go back and if you check it, they are the most corrupt persons, selfish persons and brutal. What you can say, cruel manshuru ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ. They have invested, they have seen only the interests of themselves. They are the most corrupt persons. ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಏನು ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ರಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೋಳಿರ್ತೈತಿ. They are the most corrupt persons. You have seen the Hitler's life. He was telling so much things. He was motivating his soldiers, go fight there, First World War, Second World War. But what happened? Only for his selfish purpose he has done it. The soldiers fought the battles, they died. What about Hitler? At last he committed the suicide. He had earned lot of money, but what is the use of it? At last he committed the suicide. This dictatorship didn't give him happiness. It has never given them happiness. Corruption, it has never given them happiness. They are not at all happy with their life, and it will never give them happiness, because after the sucking the blood of the people, you have reached that position. After drinking the blood of the people, you have reached that position. Then do you think it will give the happiness to you? Not at all. It will never give you the happiness. As Buddha said in the 6th standard, you have learned in the Buddha Bodh Gaya, what he says, you purchase limited land, you live in a simple house, you eat simple food. By that, what you will have? You will have the satisfaction of your life. You will be thankful for the life which the God has given to you. Otherwise, what will happen? You will be moving in the cycle, life cycle. You do your karma, you do your duty, that's all. Don't keep desires, don't keep big desires, big dreams. What it will bring? It will bring the sadness if they are not fulfilled. And what you do? You start sucking the blood of the other people in order to fulfill your desires, in order to fulfill your dreams. Then do you think by that you are going to earn the happiness? No, not at all. It will definitely not give you the happiness. It will not give you the fruit which you are wanting. Because keeping the others happy, respecting the life of others, your life will become happiest. But if you don't respect the life of the others, if you don't respect the life of the other people, if you treat them like the, what you can say, just like the machines, if you treat them like that, then definitely what is going to happen? That is the same thing, right? Equal and opposite reaction. So what you have given, the same thing comes back to you. When you throw a ball, the ball comes back to you only. So that's the same thing which is happening nowadays. The politicians are not at all interested to improve the life of the people of the country. They are interested in order to make their own profits. They become minister in order to earn the money. But that is not the case. You have become the politician in order to improve the standard of living of the people. You can't eliminate all 30% of the poverty. Yes, we agree. At least every year 2%, 3% of the poverty can be reduced in our country. That is in your hands. At least do 30% of your duty correctly so that our India can move towards the development. Right? Let us see next one. Madam Linden was listening to this discussion with interest. Now she stepped in. I was delighted to see you all arguing so passionately. I don't know who is right, who is wrong. That is for you to settle, but I did feel that you all wanted to speak your mind. Yes. Now the children are sharp. They have understood now what is a democracy. But the teacher left them, right, to settle whether the democratic type of government is good or not. You may have felt very bad if someone tried to stop you or if someone punished you for saying what you felt. Would you be able to do that in a country that is not democratic? Is that a good argument for democracy? Yes, there are a lot of arguments in the democracy, arguments against democracy. So we are seeing that there are lot of arguments that are against the democracy. Let us see what are the arguments. As the children said, even though there is a democratic type of government in India from so many years, there we are not seeing any development. Poverty has not been reduced. The standard of living of the people are not increased. We have seen there is exploitation of the labor. Laborers are made to work in more number of hours and they are paid very less. And there is discrimination of the wages of the labor. Men are paid more where the women are paid less. All these things are still there in the democratic type of government. Let us see. Leaders keep changing in democracy leads to instability. Yes, leaders keep on changing. There is no stable leaders in our country. They are keeping on changing. And what it leads to? It leads to the instability of the government. Democracy is all about political competition and power play. There is no scope for morality. Yes. Now nobody is interested in the moral values. Nobody wants to inculcate the moral values and go up with the moral values. Yes, now today I have become minister by spending crores together of money. As soon as I become the minister, I have to start extracting that money back. Because to become minister, I have spent so many crores. Right, like the same doctors, they spend crores of money in order to become the doctor. When they become the doctor, they start multinational hospital, multi-speciality hospital, and they start extracting the money from the patient. So this is same thing happening in the democracy also. But political leaders, when they have become the political leaders, their duty is to serve the people, serve the poor people. But what is happening? Are they all doing it? No, not at all. There is a competition, political competition and power play is going on. They want to show off their powers to the people. Not by serving the people. They have become ministers, they have become MLAs, they have become MPs. Their duty is to serve the people. But what is happening? They are doing political competition. The competition should be to serve the society. ಒಬ್ಬ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ರೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಯಾನಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರಿಗೇಷನ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ದ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್. Right, those things they are not doing competition in that. There is no policy programs in the benefit of the in the benefit of the farmers, in the benefit of the citizens of that area, of that constituency. They are not doing for that thing. They are doing only in order to have their power play. They want to show their power, and there is no scope for morality. Morality has almost gone away, vanished in today's politics. So everyone says dirty politics. So nobody is interested in that. Morality has almost all gone away. Moral values have gone away. So many people have to be consulted in a democracy that it leads to delays. Yes, lot of delays. Everyone knows that policy is good, programs are good, but how much delay they do. to implement it in our state or in our country, there are a lot of delays happening. They take years together to get implemented, right? Elected leaders do not know the best interest of the people. It leads to bad decisions. It's elected leaders, they don't know what is the best interest of the people. ಯಾವ ಖಾತೆಯಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ರೊಕ್ಕ ಗಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ತೈತೆ ರೀ, ಬಟ್ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗ್ತೈತೆ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೆಂಗೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಹೌ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್? ಬಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. But what happened here, elected leaders, they don't know what is the best interest of the people. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬಡ್ರನ್ನ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತರಾಗಿ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ತಾವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತರಾಗಬೇಕು, ತಾವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಚಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ತೈತೆ. So because of these things we are having, what they are leading, it leads to bad decisions. Lot of bad decisions they are taking. By that thing what happens, neither the life of the farmers has improved, neither the life of the poor people has improved in our days. Democracy leads to corruption, for it is based on electoral competition. Yes, democracy, it is leading to corruption. People are doing corruption during the elections. How? By providing the saris to the poor woman, by providing the bottles to the men. What they will do, they will by giving the liquors to them, free supply they will do, and they will make them to vote for their party. So like this unfair elections, unfair trade election practices they will do, even though that they have told, that election commission has told that you should not do all these things. They give the money, they will pay 500 rupees, 1000 rupees money they will give in order to put to vote to that party. So these things should not happen. Ordinary people don't know what is good for them. They should not decide anything. So what is happening here, ordinary people are not knowing what is good for them, because they are struggling from day to night in order to have 2 square meals a day. ಎರಡು ಹೊತ್ತು ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಪರದಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾವ್ದು ಚಲೋ ಯಾವ್ದು ಕೆಟ್ಟದ್ದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತು. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಟೈಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, because from morning till night they are working. The woman in the home is working, the men in the home they are working, the children in their homes are working, right? In some other homes they go and work, then where they have the time to sit and think what is good for them, because for them the daily wage is important. Whatever the wages they are getting, it is very important. And if they are involved in all these things, where they get the time to think about what is good for them and what is bad, because they can't waste the time. That day's payment is most important for them in order to have 2 square meals a day, or to have breakfast, lunch and dinner. Children, you will all be wasting, right? You don't like this curry, I don't like this bhaji. Please don't do like that in your home. Food is the most important thing. There are so many families who do not get 2 square meals a day. So don't waste your food. Don't show all those things, attitudes for the food, because in India around 30%, means 270 million people are suffering from what? Hunger. Remember it, they are suffering from the hunger. They don't get rice and simple dal to eat. ಅನ್ನ ಬ್ಯಾಳಿ ಸಾರು ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ರಿ ತಿನ್ನಾಕ. ನಿಮಗೆ ನಾನಾ ನಮೂನಿ ವೆರೈಟೀಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮದರ್ ಮಾಡಿಟ್ಟಾಗ ಸೊಕ್ತನ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಡ್ರಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಸಫರಿಂಗ್. Clearly, democracy is not a magical solution for all the problems. It has not ended poverty in our country and in other parts of the world. Clearly, what we can say, that it is not the magical solution for all the problems which our India is facing. Not only India, lot of developing countries, they are facing the problems, but democracy is not the magical solution for that, for those problems. Democracy as a form of government only ensures that people take their own decisions. Yes, people are free in India to take their own decisions, and democracy definitely ensures that. Nobody forces you to take this decision or that decision. All the decisions are taken by the Indians only. This does not guarantee that their decisions will be good. Yes, it doesn't guarantee that their decisions are good, because what happens, most of the people in India are uneducated. Only 68% are literates. Literates means those who know to read and write. How much is the percentage? Only 68% is there. Others, what about the others? They are illiterates. They don't know to read and write, and most of the times what they happens, they are unable to take the good decisions of their life because they are illiterate, uneducated. Involving the people in these decisions does lead to delays in decision making. Yes, this happens when we involve so many people in taking one decision. Then what happens? There will be delay in decision. And in democracy, you cannot leave any community of the people, or any caste people, any religion people, any region people, because what happens, you have to collect the opinion of everything in the democracy, and you have to take the decision. Then definitely what will happen, the decision making, the process will get delay, right? But what happens, it is profitable, it will stay for in the long run. In the long run, when you have collected everyone's decisions, and you have come to the particular decision, final decision, that decision is going to stay for the long run. If you take immediate decision and if you try to implement in the democracy, it will be there only for short term or in the short run, 3 months or 4 months only it is going to be there. But when you collect the opinion of everyone, and when you come to the final decision, that opinion is going to be implemented, and it will be there accepted by the people in the long run. Means for 20 years, for 30 years, people will follow that decision. People will obey that decision, because you have taken the opinion of each and every person, and that decision will definitely give you the good results, right? It is also true that democracy leads to frequent changes in leadership. Yes, because of democracy, what happens, every 5 years the election takes place, and that is the beauty of democracy. I say that is the beauty of democracy. There should not be only one leader. There should be neck to neck competition. Then only we can see that there will be developmental activities going on in the constituency. If there is no neck to neck competition, then what it will happen? Anyhow, this minister is going to come up, this MLA is going to come up, he is going to win in the elections, then he will not do any activities, no developmental activities. He will be the most lazy MLA in that constituency. He will not work for the people. But if there is a competitor who also is involved in the developmental activities, who come up with the new policies and programs, who wants to do something for the society, something for the country, then automatically what happens, this existing MLA will start doing lot of developmental works. But now what is happening, ನಾ ಎಮ್ ಎಲ್ ಎ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಿಂತೀನಿ, ನೀ ಎಮ್ ಎಲ್ ಎ ನೀನು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಿನ್ನು, ಇಬ್ಬರು ಶಗಣಿನ ತಿನ್ನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಂದಾಗ, then there will be nothing can happen. It will be all bullshit. But what happens nowadays, we need to select those leaders. We need to make the choice of such leaders who are going to definitely work for our constituency, for our areas. Such leaders we have to select, and we have to elect them, so that what will happen, definitely our India will become a developed country. And for that sake, what should be there, the leaders should change. That is the beauty of democracy. I said that it is the beauty of the democracy. Leaders should not be the same. It should change. Then only there will be competition, and then only these MLAs or these MPs, they will definitely work on the developmental activities. They will focus on the developmental activities of our country. Next one, what happens? Sometimes this can set back big decisions and affect the government's efficiency. Sometimes it happens, not every time. Sometimes what happens, the government's efficiency will come down because the leaders are changing. These arguments show that democracy of the kind we see may not be ideal form of government, but that is not a question we face in the real life. It is not like that the argument shows here what it is, that it is not the ideal form of government. There is nothing like, if there is a dictatorship, the country becomes developed and all, that is also not an ideal form of government. Every type of government or every form of government has some merits and demerits associated with it. But dictatorship, we have seen lot of the stories under the dictatorship of form of government. What it has become, it has all ended in a misery. We have seen poor becoming more poor and poor only, middle class also becoming poor, rich becoming rich, people are sufferings, right? We have seen there is no development, only this what some followers of that person dictator, only they are becoming the rich, others are all sufferings. So here they can't say that if there is a dictatorship rule, then definitely we are going to have the good form of government, our country will become a developed country. We cannot say that. These arguments show that democracy of the kind we see may not be ideal form of government, but that is not a question we face in the real life. The real question we face is different. Is democracy better than the other forms of government that there for us to choose from? Yes. When you are going to choose it from the dictatorship form of government and the democratic, then definitely democratic is far better than the dictatorship type of government. You have already seen in the history Hitler's rule, how it was very bad for the people. The people were forced, there were massive killings happening. He was sucking the blood of the people, he was drinking the blood of the people, lakhs of people were killed, right? Massive killings happened during the dictatorship rule. You have seen the example of Pervez Musharraf, what he did, he made the Pakistani citizens as the terrorist, right? You have seen a lot of people, terrorist activities got increasing during the rule of the Pervez Musharraf. Terrorism was at peak because he was from the military background. What he did in order to take the grudges from India, what he encouraged the terrorism activities in his country. So these are all the consequences of the dictatorship rule. Dictatorship rule will definitely not give the fruit that what we want. The results will not be the good. So arguments for democracy. So what are the arguments for democracy? We will see it in the next class. Okay children, if you have any doubts, call me. Thank you for watching the video.